Chant and dance as much as possible in this human form of life.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare
So
Krishna,
before
Prabhuji.
we begin,
Yes.
I would want to express my gratitude at the lotus feet of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and at the lotus feet of my spiritual master and all the Gaudiya Guru Varga. Whatever I would be presenting are from the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, from the books of Srila Prabhupada, and from the lectures and conversations of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So if there is anything good that comes up, the credit goes to our predecessor acharyas. And if there is any flaw that is there in the discussion, the credit goes to me. So I would also want to express my heartfelt gratitude to His Grace Venuvadak Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for kindly having me here. And also to all the assembled devotees here. I would very sincerely want to request devotees to please bless me so that I may speak something that is favorable in line with our predecessor acharyas and the Gaudiya Siddhanta. In this mode, please accept my very humble obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So a few days back, we celebrated the auspicious occasion of Balaram Purnima, the appearance day of Balramji. And the next day after Balram Purnima was the auspicious day where Prabhupada decided to leave for the United States in the year of 1965. So when Prabhupada was there on the Jaladuta, Prabhupada writes a very beautiful song. Srila Prabhupada writes, he says, Tava kripa hoile mora, katha shuddha hobe, shuniya sabara loka, dukha je guchibe, aniya cho jadi prabhu, amake nachate, nachao prabhu, nachao se mate. Srila Prabhupada pens down a very beautiful song. Srila Prabhupada says, Tava kripa hoile mora. So prayer is being made to Krishna. What is Prabhupada saying? Tava kripa hoile mora. My dear Lord, if you shower your mercy upon me, then what will happen? Katha shuddha hobe. Then whatever I attempt to speak in United States, that katha will become shuddha. My dear Lord, if you shower your mercy, then whatever I will speak in United States, that katha will become shuddha. And what will be the result? Shuniya sabara loka dukha je guchibe. And all the people who would assemble to hear that katha, their shoka and moha and dukha, their lamentation and suffering and sorrow will be completely destroyed. My dear Lord, all this will happen only if you shower your mercy. And then Prabhupada writes, Aniya cho jadi prabhu, amake nachate. My dear Lord, you have brought me here to United States. I don't know where to go. I don't know whether to go left, whether to go right. I do not have any contacts. I do not know anyone. I do not have food. My dear Lord, I do not have anything. You have brought me here. Aniya cho jadi prabhu. But Prabhupada says, my dear Lord, I am the puppet and you are the puppeteer. The puppet has no idea what's going around, but just moves according to the puppeteer. The way puppeteer moves the strings, that is how the puppet moves. The puppet has no independent idea of its own, but based on the puppeteer's skills, the puppet moves. So Prabhupada says, my dear Lord, you are that puppeteer and I am that puppet. I am admitting it. You are that puppeteer and I am that puppet. The way you move me, I am ready to move. If you shower your mercy, then whatever I speak, that katha will become Shuddha. So with this prayer of Srila Prabhupada, I thought of beginning our discussion that if Prabhupada and the Supreme Lord, if they shower their mercy upon me, along with the assembled devotees, then whatever I speak, may that katha become Shuddha, and may that katha steal the lamentation and suffering and sorrow that is there in the hearts of all the assembled devotees. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the Kartik of 1515, he came to Vrindavan. And as we know, in the past, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, Mahaprabhu had this burning desire to come to Vrindavan. But our Nitai, he very easily tricked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and took him to Shantipur. Mahaprabhu thought that is Vrindavan, but later he got to know that his Nityananda Prabhu had tricked him. So the Supreme Lord as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan, which is the land of love. Vrindavan is that land which bestows love in the form of Krishna Prem. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being in the mood of Radharani, Radha Bhavad Dviti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam, he wanted to go to Vrindavan. So in the Kartik of 1515, on the last day of Kartik, that is Kartik Purnima, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to come to Vrindavan. So on the last day, he entered Vrindavan. And the first place, Kaviraj Goswami describes, the first place Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went was Radhakund. As we know, Radhakund is the highest place in this world. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to touch that supremely merciful place, the first. Gauranga Parito Brahmat, Kaviraj Goswami says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Brahmat. He was wandering around in Vrindavan. And as he was wandering around, he was casting his glance on all the Brajavasis and showering his mercy on all the Brajavasis. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Radhakund. But interestingly, what happened is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, there was no Radhakund, there was no Shyamakund. The Radhakund and Shyamkund that we have, the Radhakund and Shyamkund that we tell the cycle rickshaw that we want to go to Radhakund. Unfortunately, that Radhakund was not there 500 years back. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, there was no Radhakund. Kalena Vrindavana Keli Varta Lupteti Tam Khyapaitum Vishishya Kripamritena Abhishishya Devas Tatraiva Rupam Cha Sanatanam Cha. This place, Radhakund, had become Lupta. It had become completely lost to the material eye, to the naked eye. No one knew about the glories of Radhakund. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he was asking the Brajavasis, where is Radhakund? Radhakund kothai? The Brajavasis had no idea. They were looking at each other. They absolutely had no idea about Sri Radhakund. Sri Rupa Goswami, in his Nectar of Instructions, the Upadeshamrit, in the 9th verse, he gives a very beautiful hierarchy. He says, Vaikunto Janita Vara Madhupuri Tathrapi Rasotsavaha. Sri Rupa Goswami, he says, greater than Vaikunta is Mathura. Why? Because in Vaikunta, the Lord lives as Vishnu. But it was Mathura that the Supreme Lord appeared. Sri Krishna appeared in Mathura in the jail to Devaki and Vasudeva. So Rupa Goswami says, Vaikunto Janita Vara Madhupuri. Madhupuri means Mathura. So greater than that Vaikunta is Mathura. But he says greater than that Mathura is Vrindavan. Why? Because Krishna appeared in Mathura, but the moment he appeared, he went to Vrindavan. He immediately told his father, Vasudeva Maharaj, that, my dear father, please take me to Vrindavan. So the moment he appeared in Mathura, he was taken to Braj. So Rupa Goswami says, greater than Vaikunta is Mathura, greater than that Mathura is Braj, greater than that Vrindavan, he says, is Govardhan. Why? Because even though Krishna lived in Vrindavan with Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, he still spent more than 12 hours of his time at Giriraj. Krishna would play with his friends at Giriraj. He would hide in the caves of Giriraj. All his pastimes with his friends would take place in and around Giriraj. So Rupa Goswami says, greater than Vaikunta is Mathura, greater than that Mathura is Braj, greater than that Vrindavan is Govardhan. But he says, greater than that Govardhan is Radhakund. Why? Because Radhakund is the liquefied form of Srimati Radharani. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata Sarva Gopeshu Sevaikai Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha. Kaviraj Goswami says, Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu. Just as Radharani is dear to Sri Krishna, Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata. Similarly, that Kunda is also dear to Krishna. Sarva Gopeshu Sevaika Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha. Why? Because Radharani and Krishna have beautiful water pastimes in Sri Radhakund. So just as Radharani is very dear to Sri Krishna, similarly, that Radhakund, which is the liquefied form of Srimati Radharani, is very dear to the heart of Sri Krishna. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, Radhakund was not there, it had become lost. So later we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for this reason, empowers Rupa and Sanatan to revive all the pastime places of Braj. But as far as Radhakund is concerned, he empowers Raghunath Das Goswami. So Raghunath Das Goswami is given the credit to again bring back the Radhakund that we have. So, but when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, this place had become completely lost. Premasmin bata radhike vallabhate yasyam sakrit snanakrit tasyai mahima tatha madhurima kenastu varnyokshitau. Premasmin bata radhike vallabhate yasyam sakrit snanakrit. Anyone who takes bath once in Radhakund, Kaviraj Goswami says that person is bestowed with the mercy of Srimati Radharani. Radharani showers her mercy profusely on that jiva. Anyone who takes bath once, sakrit snanakrit, just once. Tasyai vai mahima tatha madhurima kenastu varnyokshitau. So who can describe Mahima Tatha Madhurima? Who can describe the glories and sweetness of that Radhakund? Which only means to say no one in this world can describe Radhakund. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the Supreme Lord, being omniscient, he knew the importance of this place and his heart was bleeding when he came to Radhakund. So there was one small water body that was there, but the whole field was covered. It was called as Gori Khet and Kali Khet. Gori Khet for Radhakund and Kali Khet for Shyamakund. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that this is Radhakund and Shyamakund. So he took a small bath, and then we find at Dashashwamedha Ghat, he empowers Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami and all the other Goswamis to re-establish these pastime places of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he got to know about this extinct pastime place, he empowered the Goswamis, and while he was leaving, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made sure to decorate his body with the dust of Radhakund. Even now we see, when we go to Vrindavan, many devotees wear the Radhakund tilak. Their bodies are decorated with Radhakund tilak. And Kaviraj Goswami says the origin for this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came for the first time, he decorated his complete body with the tilak, with the dust of Radhakund. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first stop was the beautiful place of Radhakund. And from there, after taking the blessings of Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded and he went to take bath in a lake called as Sumanas Lake. And after he took bath at Sumanas Lake, he went to a very famous temple in Vrindavan. when Radharani was there in Dwapar with her sakhis, with her friends, with the gopis. So once it so happened that a meeting was planned between Radharani and Krishna. And as usual, Radharani was there on time. But our Brajendra Nandan Krishna was as usual late. Krishna was not present. And Radharani and the gopis were waiting that where is Krishna? Where is Nandanandan? Where is Devaki Nandan? Where is Brajendra Nandan? They were waiting and Krishna was not to be seen. So in order to pacify Srimati Radharani, Krishna knew that if he comes face to face in front of Radharani, Radharani will become very furious because Krishna was late. So for that reason, Krishna doesn't come in a Tribhang Lalit Shyam Sundar form, but he sends a beautiful deity that he manifested from his own body. Shri Krishna manifested a beautiful deity from his own body and he sent to Radharani and the gopis. And when the gopis and Radharani saw this beautiful deity, they fell down. They gave their dandavats and loudly chanted, "Oh, he's Haridev! He's Haridev!" Why? Because Hari is another name for Shri Krishna and Dev means Lord. So he is the Lord. He is the Lord of our lives. He's Haridev. And this beautiful deity was depicting the pastime of Krishna lifting Giriraj Govardhan. So this was that beautiful form where Krishna had lifted Giriraj Govardhan. And this deity was gifted to Radharani and the gopis. But interestingly, what happened was when the Mughals attacked Vrindavan, this deity of Haridev was taken from Braj and was taken from there to Rajasthan. And in Vrindavan, a Pratima Murti was installed, which means a replica of that deity was installed in Vrindavan, while the original deity was taken to Rajasthan. And unfortunately, what has happened over of time is just like Radhakund became Lupta, just like Radhakund became lost to material vision, this original deity of Haridev that Krishna manifested from his heart, and that deity which went to Rajasthan has now become lost. No one knows where the deity is. So in Vrindavan, we have the Pratima Murti, we have the replica, but the original deity has become lost to material vision. But nonetheless, we still have the deity that Krishna had manifested. And for those who have been to Braj Parikrama and those who have been to that temple will very well know that the Brajavasis, they make it a point to all the visitors. They make this point that one may do Giriraj Parikrama, one may visit all the temples, one may visit all the sarovars. But till the time one doesn't visit Haridev Mandir, one doesn't get any benefit. This is what the Brajavasis say. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at this time, dear devotees, was standing eye to eye in front of Haridev. He was in this temple and remembering all the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And that night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he decided to take rest in that temple, in the temple of Haridev. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to take rest, there was a desire in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart. What was that desire? Well, the desire that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had is Mahaprabhu wanted to take darshan of the Gopal Rai deity that was there on top of Giriraj Govardhan. As we know, as we may have heard many times, that in the top of Giriraj, there is a beautiful deity of Gopal. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted to take this darshan, but unfortunately he couldn't, because to take this darshan, one has to step their feet in the rocks of Giriraj. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was reluctant to do this. Because at the end of the day, Giriraj is not different from Shri Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was setting an example for all the people in the future, for time to come, that one should never step their feet. One should never step at the rocks of Giriraj, because Giriraj is not different from Sri Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had this desire, but at the same time, he couldn't see because he didn't want to break the rules. He didn't want to do a Vaishnava aparad. He didn't want to do a deity aparad. So that night, he went to take rest. And Gopal, we say Bhavagrahi Janardana, the Supreme Lord, he understands the love of his devotees. He reciprocates to that love of his devotees. During Srila Prabhupada's time, dear devotees, when Prabhupada once, he came to Chennai. This was in the 1970s. And Prabhupada gave a very beautiful speech in a pandal. In that pandal, in the assembly, was one lady who was hearing to the speech. And now, fast forward many years, she was lying in her deathbed. She was about to leave her body. And her son, grown-up son, was next to her. So when she was about to leave her body, the son, he decided that my mother is about to leave my body, so why not I do something good for her? Why not I do something spiritual for her? So he went to the local ISKCON temple that is in Chennai. This is a very beautiful story, dear devotees. So he went to the local Chennai temple and he went to the gift shop. The reason being, he wanted to buy a photograph of the local deities and he wanted to hang that photo in front of the vision of his mother so that when she leaves her body, she can see this beautiful form of the Lord. So for this reason, he went to the local temple, local ISKCON Chennai temple, and he searched the whole gift shop. Interestingly enough, he did not find a single photograph of the local temple. And this was very mysterious because all the time the gift shop would have a photo of the local temple. But this time when this boy came, they did not have any photograph. So then the temple president was called. And when the temple president came and he heard the whole scenario, he took this boy, he held his hand and took the boy to his house. And the temple president searched all his house. But interestingly enough, even he did not have a single photo of the local temple. So the gift shop did not have a photograph. The temple president also did not have any photograph. So finally, when the temple president searched his whole house and he did not find a photograph of the local ISKCON Chennai temple, he had another photograph that he handed it to the boy. And this photo was the photo of Radha Shyamsundar from our ISKCON Vrindavan temple. And when the temple president gave it to the boy, he said, "My dear son, this deities, that is Radha and Krishna, Radha Shyamsundar, they are not different from the Chennai temple. They're absolutely one and the same. It's the same Radha and Krishna. So I do not have the Chennai deities, but I do have Radha Shyamsundar of Vrindavan. And if I may request, you may kindly hang this photo in front of your mother so that she can see Radha Shyamsundar and breathe her last." So the child agreed, because at the end of the day, the deities are not different. Whether they're the deities of Chennai or whether they're Radha Shyamsundar of Vrindavan, they're one and the same. So he took the photo and he hung the photo. And rightly so, the mother, she left her body seeing the beautiful form of Radha Shyamsundar. Now here comes the beautiful twist, dear devotees. The mother left her body, and as we know, in the Indian custom, in the Indian tradition, we have the 13th day where we invite the pujaris and various scholars and various devotees around so that the departed soul gets proper blessings. So on the 13th day, a lot of devotees were invited, and a few local ISKCON Chennai devotees were also invited. So they came and they attended all the festival, and while they were leaving, they struck a conversation with the child of the departed mother. And while they were discussing, the child, he made a very fascinating point. He said, "You'll be amazed, you will be astonished to know that my mother met Srila Prabhupada. So when the brahmacharis heard this, they were perplexed. They thought to themselves, your mother met Prabhupada? So the child said, yes, my mother met Prabhupada. And he started narrating the story. So in the 1970s, Srila Prabhupada once came to Chennai. And in a huge Pandal program, he addressed a lot of devotees as well as newcomers. In that assembly was this lady. Now, please hear this very carefully, dear devotees. In that assembly was this lady who was hearing to Srila Prabhupada, and she was in her teens. So when she heard to Srila Prabhupada, she was so mesmerized that she wanted to do something for Srila Prabhupada. And at that time, Prabhupada was making an announcement because the Chennai temple was coming up. So Prabhupada was requesting that if you can kindly give me some funds for the local temple, I'll be indebted. So this lady who came from an aristocratic family, when she heard this plea of Srila Prabhupada, after the program was done, she went to Prabhupada and wrote a check for 10,000 rupees. Dear devotees, this is 50 years ago. So 10,000 rupees 50 years ago was a very big amount. So she wrote a check for 10,000 rupees and gave it to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was so happy. He said that you have given me 10,000 rupees. I'm so indebted to you. And I promise that this money will be used in the Lord's service. So now, when the brahmacharis who were there in the 13th-day festival, when they got to know, they immediately went back and they started searching all the records, because Prabhupada had this habit that whenever anyone would give a donation, he would make a record of it. He would have a receipt to anyone who gave a donation. So the brahmacharis were very confident that they should find a receipt for the 10,000 rupees that this lady had offered. When they went back 50 years in time, they found this receipt. The name of this lady was written and Prabhupada had signed it, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And below that, Prabhupada had also written the cause for which this 10,000 rupees was used. Prabhupada had written that this 10,000 rupees, I'm using it for the construction of Krishna Balaram Temple, Vrindavan. Now comes the interesting part, dear devotees. This lady who had met Prabhupada just once, who did not know anything about ISKCON, she once donated 10,000 rupees, and with that money, Prabhupada came up with the Krishna Balaram Mandir. But even though she forgot, even though she did not remember, the Supreme Lord remembered. The Supreme Lord says, Ye yathamam prapadyante, I reciprocate to the love of the devotees. The Supreme Lord remembered what she had done. And rightly so, when she was departing this world, no other deity came in front of her, but it was Radha Shyamsundar, for whom she had offered 10,000 rupees, came eye to eye in front of that lady, and she departed the world. So it is so interesting to note that any deity of this world could have come, but it was Radha Shyamsundar who came for her only because she offered little service 50 years ago. The Supreme Lord, time and again, he only shows this point that for his devotees, the Lord reciprocates to their love. Whatever the devotee hankers for, whatever the devotee desires for, the Supreme Lord bestows it. So here was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was desiring to see Gopal Rai. And at that time, this deity of Gopal Rai mysteriously came to a village by the name Gantuli Gram. Now, what had happened was few Turkish soldiers were attacking that province. And the locals who were there in that province, they took this deity of Gopal Rai and went to the village of Gantuli Gram so that the deity is safe at that place. Now, this place, Gantuli Gram, has a very interesting past. It has a very interesting history. In the month of February and March, as we know, we have the festival of Holi. So once Radha and Krishna, along with the Gopas, along with the Gopis, They were celebrating this festival of Holi. And at that time, everywhere in Braj, there were different colors. Colors were just spread. The Gopas would put colors on Krishna, and Krishna would sprinkle colors on the gopis, and it would go back and forth, and a beautiful celebration of Holi was there. At that time, the whole place, because of Holi, was turned into red. Lot of red color was used, so the whole place turned into red completely. So at that time, after the whole festival was done, Radha and Krishna became tired and they sat at one place. And Lalita Devi, Lalita Sakhi, who saw this, she took the opportunity and from behind she went and she took the pitambar of Krishna and she took the cloth of Radharani and tied both the cloth. So in Hindi, to tie, we say gant bandhna. So it was this place that Lalita Devi, she tied the cloth of Radha and Krishna. And when the signal thumbs up was given, Vishakha Devi started singing the marriage songs. All the Gopas and Gopis started clapping. And Radha and Krishna were so ashamed because everyone was singing the marriage song and Radharani and Krishna were looking down. They were very shy. And when they got up to leave the place, they couldn't because Lalita had tied the cloth of Radha and Krishna. So this was that beautiful place where the cloth of both the divine lords, Radharani and Krishna, were tied. And in Hindi, to tie, we say gant bandhna. Interestingly enough, even today, because the whole place was surrounded or was colored with red, a kund nearby was formed, which was called as Gulal Kund, which is there even today. And the most interesting part, dear devotees, is on the day of Gaur Purnima, the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Radha and Krishna, Lalita Devi, she wanted to marry Radha and Krishna. She wanted to unite Radha and Krishna. And as we know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the combined incarnation of Radha and Krishna. So even till date, in this beautiful place of Gulal Kund, a stream of red color just flows on the day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance out of nowhere to signify this beautiful pastime that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from that Radha and Krishna. Lalita Devi, who tried to marry the Supreme Lords, in Kali they came down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this beautiful place, Gantuli Gram, signifies this aspect. So Gopal Rai, the deity of Gopal, was taken to Gantuli Gram. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not aware when this deity was transferred. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was standing in front of Giriraj. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was standing in front of Giriraj and in the mood of Radharani. Just like when Radharani saw Giriraj, Radharani chanted a verse, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Radharani, chanted the same verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 10, chapter 21, text 18. Hantayam adrirabala haridasavarya yadrama krishna charana sparasha pramoda manam tanoti sahago ganayostayoryat pani yasuya vasakandara kandamulai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted this beautiful verse. What does it mean? Hantayam adr abala haridasavarya. My dear Giriraj, you are Haridasavarya. You are the best among servants of the Lord. Yad Rama Krishna Charanam Sparasha Pramoda. Why? Because Ram and Krishna, Balaram and Krishna's lotus feet are upon your head throughout the day. And you serve Balaram and Krishna not just by providing caves, but you provide fruits, you provide vegetables, you provide water, and you provide so many other beverages and refreshments. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in front of Giriraj was chanting the same verse and glorifying Giriraj that, my dear Giriraj, you are the best among servants of the Lord. Hantayam adr rabala haridasavarya. You are the best among servants. This is exactly the mood that even Raghunath Das Goswami had. Raghunath Das Goswami says, Nijapati bhujadanda chhatra bhavam prapadya pratihata madadrishto danda devendra garva atula prutula shaila shreni bhupa priyam me nija nikata nivasam dehi govardhanatvam. Raghunath Das Goswami, our Prayojan Acharya, he says, Nijapati bhuja danda chatra bhavam prapadya. My dear Lord, your bhuja held Giriraj for 7 days and 7 nights. And how was Giriraj? It was chhatra. It became an umbrella for all the Brajavasis. Chhatra bhavam prapadya. The Giriraj became an umbrella to protect all the Brajavasi, to protect all the residents of Vrindavan. Nijapati bhuja dhanda chhatra bhavam prapadya pratihata mada drishto danda devendra garva. So one of the names of Indra is called as Devendra. So through this pastime of Giriraj, what did Krishna do? Danda Devendra garva. He smashed the pride of Indra. That Indra who was very proud of his powers, the Supreme Lord smashed his pride just by lifting Giriraj. Danda Devendra garva. Atula prutula shaila shreni bhupa priyam me nija nikata nivasam dehi govardhanatvam. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he makes a prayer that, my dear Giriraj, because you are the best among servants of the Lord, please grant me this benediction that for rest of eternity I can live at your foothill. Nija nikata nivasam dehi govardhanatvam. Please grant me this benediction for time immemorial. Let me live at the foothill of Giriraj and remember this beautiful pastime of Krishna lifting Giriraj Govardhan. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, at this point, he draws a very beautiful analysis. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he takes 2 pastimes into account. The first pastime is that of Krishna lifting Giriraj, and the second pastime is that of Brahma being bewildered, the Brahma Vimohan Lila. And Vishwanath Chakravarti draws parallels between these 2 pastimes. Vishwanath Chakravarti makes a very fascinating point, dear devotees. He says, what did Indra do? Well, Indra showered so much rain that the life of the Brajavasis were at stake. The whole of Braj Mandal was almost drowning, and had Krishna not lifted Giriraj, the Brajavasis would have died. So Indra's offense was very great. But on the flip side, when we see the Brahma Vimohan Lila pastime, Brahmaji, he kidnapped the cows and the calves and the friends of Krishna, and he returned after 1 year. So as far as offense is concerned, Indra's offense weighs heavier in comparison to Brahma's offense, because Brahmaji just took the cows and calves away from Krishna. But Indra wanted to destroy Vrindavan. He wanted to destroy the Brajavasis. So as far as aparad is concerned, the aparad, the offense of Indra is greater. It weighs heavier in comparison to that of Brahma Vimohan Lila. But here comes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur with a very fabulous realization. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, even though Indra showered rain and the whole of Braj Mandal was almost drowning and the Brajavasi's life were at stake, through this torrential rains, what happened is he united all the Brajavasis. Because the Sakhas were getting the morning with Krishna, but they also wanted to be during the night time. The gopis were there with Krishna during the night time, but they also wanted to be during the daytime. Mother Yashoda would see Krishna only in the evening, because throughout the day Krishna would be playing with his friends. So through this pastime of Giriraj, through this pastime of Krishna lifting the Giri Govardhan, what Indra actually did was he united everyone. He united all the Brajavasis. For 7 days and 7 nights, the friends of Krishna, the parents, that is Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, and the gopis of Vrindavan, They were all united under the umbrella of Giriraj only because of Indra. So even though he wanted to kill, what he did, what he ended up doing was he united all the Brajavasis. But on the flip side, Brahmaji, externally it seemed as if he has just taken the cows and calves. But what he did was he separated Krishna's associates. He separated the Brajavasis from Krishna. And for Krishna, that offense weighs heavier in comparison to Indra's offense. Brahmaji separated all the Brajavasis. He separated the cows. He separated the cows and calves. Krishna is called as Gopal. He takes care of the cows. But here was Brahma who had separated the cows from Krishna. And for this reason, Vishwanath Chakravarti says that when Indra and Brahma came to ask forgiveness from Krishna, Krishna forgave Indra very fast. Indra chanted a few prayers and Krishna forgave him very fast. Why? Because even though he had done an aparad, what he ended up doing was he united all the Brajavasis. But on the flip side, on the contrary, when Brahma came to chant the prayers, Krishna was not willing to forgive Brahmaji. Brahma had to chant a lot of prayers and finally Krishna decided to forgive. Why? Because the offense of Brahma was heavier. It was grave in comparison to that of Indra. So this is a very beautiful analysis that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur does in respect to the pastime of Giriraj and with that of Brahma Vimohan Leela. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was standing in front of Giriraj and was appreciating Giriraj. And later, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he got to know that the Gopal Rai deity had come to Gantuli Gram, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to visit this temple. He decided to take darshan because his heart was burning. He wanted to see the deity of Gopal Rai, and this was the best opportune moment for him to take darshan. So the Supreme Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, went to take darshan, and when he saw this beautiful form of Krishna lifting Giriraj, he chanted a very beautiful verse. And dear devotees, this is a verse which we can chant, especially in this time of COVID. Because around the world, people are tormented with fear and are chanting various prayers, beseeching the Lord for protection. So here was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu standing in front of Gopal Rai, chanted a very beautiful verse, which our dear Rupa Goswami has quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he chanted, he said, Vamas tamara akshasya bhujadanda sapatuva krida kandukatamyena nito govardhana giri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Vamas tamara akshasya. My dear Lord, Vamas means the left hand. With your left hand, you lifted Giriraj. And how do you look? Tamara akshasya. My dear Lord, you are lotus-eyed. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually making a prayer here. And this is a prayer which we can by heart and chant on the day of Janmashtami to the Supreme Lord, beseeching the Lord to please protect us. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Vamas tamar akshasya bhuja danda sapatuva. My dear Lord, your hand, it lifted the Giriraj Govardhan for 7 days. May that left hand with lifted Govardhan provide me protection. Bhuja danda sapatuva. That hand that protected the Brajavasis. My dear Lord, I have a very sincere prayer. That left hand which protected the Brajavasis and all the residents, including the cows and calves of Brajadham, may that left hand protect me. And how did Krishna lift Giriraj Govardhan? Krida kandukatam yena nito govardhana giri. So Krida means a toy. Kaviraj Goswami says, like a toy he lifted Giriraj Govardhan. So Kaviraj Goswami quotes this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but the origin for this verse is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So he says, just like a small child lifts up a toy effortlessly, a toy for a small child is very light in weight, and the child does not put in any effort to lift up that toy. So Srila Rupa Goswami says Krishna lifted the Giriraj just like a child lifts up a toy. Krida Kandukatamena Nito Govardhana Giri, to that left hand which lifts up a mountain like a toy. Let that left hand always protect me. Let that left hand always be my shelter. So dear devotees, this is a beautiful verse which we can by heart and chant to the Supreme Lord, requesting him to kindly protect us. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took darshan of Gopal Rai deity. And along with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Bhugarbha Goswami, Lokanath Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and so many other prominent names took this moment to come and take darshan of the Gopal Rai deity, because all of them wanted to see the deity, but none of them could climb Giriraj. So by the Lord's arrangement, he shifted his base from the top of Giriraj to Gantuli Gram only so that the devotees could take his darshan. So for 3 days and 3 nights, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking darshan of this beautiful form of Giriraj, and finally the deity again went back to the top of Giriraj. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from there, having tears of ecstasy, crying in every pastime place, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu later went to Nandagaon, the place where Krishna was there with his parents, Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. And from there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to a very interesting place called as Dwadasha Aditya Tila. Now, this is a very interesting place, dear devotees. When Krishna, he chastised Kaliya, as we know, that Kaliya was there in Ramanik Islands, which is the present-day Fiji. And from there, in the fear of Garuda, Kaliya came all the way to Yamuna and was hiding in Yamuna. And Sri Krishna, when he got to know, he jumped into the waters of Jamuna, and he later danced on the slippery hoods of this snake. And Kaliya was not a snake that just had 1 hood or 2 hoods. It had thousands of hoods. And the Supreme Lord, when he was less than 10, was beautifully, effortlessly dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. So when he was dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, on the bank of Yamuna was Mother Yashoda. On the bank were the friends of Krishna, because Balram, Daoji had brought all of them to witness this pastime of Sri Krishna. So all of them were standing on the bank and they were looking at Krishna. And when Krishna chastised Kaliya, when he ousted Kaliya from Vrindavan, and when Krishna came out, Mother Yashoda and the friends of Krishna, even after displaying this beautiful dance of divinity, Mother Yashoda was convinced that Krishna is not God. How can he be God? He's my son. He's my Nandalal. He's Yashomati Nandan. How can he be God? So Mother Yashoda was convinced that Krishna cannot be God. So when Krishna came out after dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, Mother Yashoda was here standing with a cloth to wipe Krishna, to dry Krishna, because out of her motherly affection, she was thinking that my Lala has been in the waters of Yamuna for such a long time. If I don't wipe him, if I don't dry him up, he will get cold. So Mother Yashoda was standing with a cloth and she was ready to wipe the Supreme Lord. This is the love of the Brajavasis, dear devotees. Krishna, time and again, through so many instances, he shows his divinity by killing so many demons, but the Brajavasis are convinced that Krishna is not God. Sakha Shuddha Sakhya Kare Skanda Arohan, Tumi Kon Bada Lok Tumi Yamisham. The friends of Krishna, they climb on the shoulders of Krishna. Sakha Shuddha Sakhya Kare Skanda Arohan. They sit on the shoulder of Krishna. And what do they say? Tumi kon bada lok tumi amisham. My dear Krishna, what kind of big man are you? We are same. We are one and the same. We are equals. What to speak of equals? Krishna, we are better than you. So the friends are convinced that Krishna is not God. And Mother Yashoda, even after seeing the whole universe, whole cosmic manifestation in the mouth of Krishna, still she is convinced that he cannot be God. So when Krishna came after the dance of divinity, when he came to the shore of Yamuna, Mother Yashoda was all set to dry him up. So at that time, Krishna, he went to the backside of Madan Mohan temple, the old Madan Mohan temple. So during those days, Madan Mohan temple was not there. But just as far as our records and reference is concerned, Krishna went to the backside of Madan Mohan temple, and being the Supreme Lord, being the Lord of all Lords, he invoked Surya Dev. He invoked Surya Dev and ordered Surya Dev that, my dear Surya Dev, because I'm completely drenched, because I'm completely wet, it is my instruction to you that please dry me up. And Surya Dev, being the servant of the Supreme Lord, he obeyed the instruction of Krishna, and the sun, Surya Dev, expanded himself as 12 suns. Not one sun, not two suns, but Surya Dev expanded himself as 12 suns to dry Krishna. And Krishna, with the help of 12 suns, was completely dried after the pastime of Kaliya. So because 12 suns appeared in the horizon, this place is called as Dwadasha Aditya Tila. Dasha means 10. Dwadasha means 12. And Aditya means the sun. That place where 12 suns appeared in the horizon to dry Krishna off after the pastime of chastising Kaliya, that place is called as Dwadasha Aditya Tila. And the Supreme Lord as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was standing at Dwadasha Aditya Tila and was shedding tears, remembering all these beautiful pastimes of Shri Krishna. Because the Supreme Lord as Chaitanya was in the mood of devotee. So every pastime place that he went, he was weeping, he was crying that when will that day come when I can actually witness these pastimes? So dear devotees, this is a very important point. As sadhakas, as practitioners, we also go to Vrindavan. But seldom do we cry in Vrindavan. Seldom do we cry when we are leaving Vrindavan Dham. Shripad Ayendra Prabhu would make a very fantastic point. Shripad Ayendra Prabhu would say, my dear Prabhu, while leaving Vrindavan, if you do not have tears in your eyes, I am sorry to say, Prabhu, you were never in Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan means separation. Vrindavan means tears. And while leaving Vrindavan or while being in Vrindavan, if one does not have tears, remembering the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, Ayendra Prabhu said, I am sorry to say you are never in Vrindavan. So this is the case with most of the practitioners, most of the sadhakas. So now the question is, what is the solution? Well, Prabhu, you described what the problem is, and we fall in this bracket, we fall in this category. But what is the solution? Well, Shukadev Goswami very mercifully, very kindly for us has given the solution in the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukadev Goswami says, Sanchintayad Bhagavatas Charanaravinda Vajrankusha Dhwaja Saroruha Lanchanadhya Uttunga Rakta Vilasannaka Chandravala Jyotsna Virahata Mahadradayandakara. Shukadev Goswami, he says, Sanchintayad Bhagavatas Charanaravinda. So he's describing a solution here. What is the problem? Well, the problem is the darkness, the ignorance in the heart, because of which we do not have tears when we go to Braj. So the solution is described here. He says, Sanchintayad Bhagavatas Charanaravinda. Sanchintayad means to remember. Remember what? Bhagavatas Charanaravinda. Shukadev Goswami says, well, the solution is to remember the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. What is so special about the lotus feet of the Lord? Well, Sanchintayat Bhagavatas Charanara Vinda, now a graphical representation of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord is described. How does the lotus feet of the Lord look? Sanchintayat Bhagavatas Charanara Vinda, Vajrankusha Dhvaja Saroru Halanchanadya. The lotus feet of the Lord has what? Vajra means a thunderbolt. Vajra Ankusha. Ankusha means a goad, which the Mahuts use to drive the elephants. Many times we see the Mahut who is sitting up, he has a goad. With that, he drives the elephant, whether to go left or to go right. So that is called as a goad. And in Sanskrit, it's called as Ankusha. So Vajrankusha, the lotus feet of the Lord has Vajra. It has a thunderbolt. It has an Ankusha, which means it has a goad. Vajrankusha Dhvaja means it has a flag. Now, a very interesting point here, dear devotees. My holy spiritual master was making this point. He was saying that there is a difference between a dhvaja and a pataka. A pataka is a huge flag. Like we say, His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj. So Jai means victory and Pataka means a huge flag. So a victory flag. So Pataka is a huge flag, but a Dhvaja is a small flag. So in Sanskrit, a small flag is called as Dhvaja, while a big flag is called as Pataka. And Shukadev Goswami is so perfect. He doesn't say Pataka, but he says a Dhvaja. The lotus feet of the Lord has Dhvaja in it. So, Sanchintayad Bhagavatas Charanaravinda Vajra Ankusha Dhvaja. It has a thunderbolt, it has a goad, it has a flag, and Saroruha. It has a lotus. Lanchanadyam. These are the marks on the lotus feet of the Lord. But you may have this question, but Prabhu, the solution is still not given. Our question is still not solved. So in the last two lines, Shukadev Goswami answers. He says, Sanchintayad Bhagavatas Charanar Vinda Vajrankusha Dhvaja Saroruha Lanchanadya Uttunga Rakta Vilasan Nakachandravala. How are the nails of the Supreme Lord? The toe nails? Uttunga Rakta Vilasan. It is red in color. They are like rubies. Every nail, Shukadev Goswami says, of Krishna, they're like rubies. And Chandravala, the light that the nails of Supreme Lord, the light that it emanates are like the moon. Just like the moon emanates its light, similarly, the Supreme Lord's nails, they emanate the same light. So Sanchintayad Bhagavatas Charanara Vinda Vajrankusha Dhvaja Saroruha Lanchanadya Uttunga Rakta Vilasan Nakachandravala Jyotsnabir Ahata Mahad Hridayandakara. Ahata means darkness. Mahad means thick. In our heart, there is thick darkness of ignorance. Because of that ignorance, because of that darkness, we are not able to cry for Krishna. Shukadev Goswami says, Ahata Mahad Hridayandakara. All these darkness that are there in the heart of the Jiva for lifetimes together, this darkness, this andakar, Drida Andakaram, gets destroyed in seconds for that personality who meditates his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. Anyone who remembers the lotus feet of the Lord, who remembers his beautiful signs and symbols of the Lord, remembers the red nails of the Supreme Lord and how it emanates light just like the moon. For that person, Shukadev Goswami says, all the darkness that is present in the heart is destroyed in seconds. And when the darkness is destroyed, dear devotees, then we can appreciate Vrindavan the way it is. We can appreciate this land of love. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mode of a devotee, is teaching by example that Vrindavan is a place where one should cry for the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. He was remembering the beautiful pastime of Radha and Krishna at various Leela Sthalis and was shedding tears. And what was he doing? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was at Imli Tal, the famous Imli Tal that is there opposite Yamuna, when Mahaprabhu was there at Imli Tal, Kaviraj Goswami says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sadhana was so strong that he would chant till afternoon. Madhyayan Parantha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant the holy name till afternoon. And what would he do after afternoon? Well, anyone who came to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, devotees were so eager because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was around. The Supreme Lord, who is not different from Radha and Krishna, he was around. So all the Brajavasis, all the locals were very keen to take the association of the Lord. So when they would meet the Lord, the preaching that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would do is Nam Tattva. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would preach the glories of the holy name to every single person. Whether one was a small child, whether one was an adult, whether one was an aged person, whoever it is, whoever approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu would preach the glories of the holy name. Gokoti danam grahane khagasya prayaga gangotaka kalpavasam yagyayutam meru suvarna danam govinda kirtairna samam shata amshair. The Skanda Puran quotes a very beautiful verse. It says, Gokoti danam grahane khagasya. So the glories of the holy name are described. Skanda Puran says, Gokoti danam grahane khagasya. There may be a person who may distribute 1 crore cows in charity. Gokoti danam grahane khagasya. And that too when? During the time of eclipse. So there may be someone who has distributed 1 crore cows during the time of eclipse. Or there may be someone, Gokoti danam grahane khagasya prayaga gangotaka kalpavasam. There may be someone who has lived on the confluence or the banks of Prayag for 1 kalpa. Yagyayutam meru suvarna danam. Or there may be someone who has distributed mountain full of gold. Gold in the form of Meru mountain. As we know, Meru mountain is huge in its structure. So the Skanda Puran says there may be someone who has distributed 1 crore cows during eclipse, or there may be someone who has lived on the confluence or the banks of Prayag for 1 kalpa, or there may be someone who has given gold in the form of Meru mountain. But the last line is so beautiful, dear devotees. Gokoti danam grahane khagasya prayaga gangotaka kalpavasam yagyayutam meru suvarna danam govinda kirtair na samam shata amshair. Still, that person does not derive even 1/100th of the merit derived from chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada to that, he comments, he says, anyone who chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra even once, he gets benefit 100 times more than that of a person who has distributed cows in charity during eclipse, or who has lived in the banks, on the banks of Prayag for 1 kalpa, or who has distributed gold in the form of Meru mountain. All these pious activities cannot account for the glories of the holy name, because Nam in Kali reigns superior to any devotional activity. In Kali Yuga, no devotional activity supersedes the chanting of the holy name. That is the highest activity, which is of paramount importance in this age. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teaching every single person who would meet him at Imli Tal about the glories of the holy name. Chaitanya Seva, Chaitanya Gao, Lo Chaitanya Naam, Chaitanya Je Bhakti Kare Sei Mora Pran. A similar point is made even by Nityananda Prabhu, that one should worship the Supreme Lord through the chanting of the holy names. the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, through the chanting of the names of the Supreme Lord as Sri Chaitanya. One should be constantly absorbed in this limb of bhakti. The tongue should always be vibrating with the chanting of the holy name. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of a devotee, was teaching by example. He would chant till the afternoon, Madhyayan Paranta, and later when people would come to meet him, he would describe the glories of the holy name and inspire them to chant, to take up to this process of Harinam Sankirtan. So this was Mahaprabhu's activities when he was there at Imli Tal. So many times we have heard that the Supreme Lord as Krishna, whose appearance day we would be celebrating in another 3 days' time in the form of Krishna Janmashtami. When Krishna came and during the time of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he instructed Arjuna in the form of the Bhagavad Gita. And in the Bhagavad Gita, the underlining statement that the Supreme Lord makes is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhya jimam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijani prayoshi me. Time and again, Krishna makes this point to Arjuna that, my dear Arjuna, absorb your mind in me, think about me, remember me, offer your homage to me, surrender everything unto me. But it is worthwhile to understand that Krishna gave an instruction to Arjuna. He gave it in a seed form. He gave the instruction. But Krishna did not show by practical example. The same Krishna who spoke to Arjuna, who spoke the whole of Bhagavad Gita in 48 straight minutes, did not show by practical example how it has to be done. For this reason, the same Krishna of Dwapar came down in Kali as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to demonstrate this fact that how bhakti has to be done unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So the Krishna Janmashtami that we would be celebrating in a few days' time is very auspicious, but at the same time, it is also important to note that one has to approach Sri Krishna through the lotus feet of Chaitanya Nityananda. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of a devotee, showed the way Krishna is pleased. So one should always be convinced of the fact that the Krishna of Dwapar is Chaitanya of Kali. One has to drill this fact in our head. Gopalam paripalayam vrajapure bharam haram dwapare gauranga priyakirtane kaliyuge Chaitanya namaha Prabhu. Who is Krishna? Gopalam paripalayam vrajapure. He is called as Gopal. Why? Because Krishna takes care of the cows. He takes care of the calves. The cows and calves are very dear to the Supreme Lord. And because the cow is called as Go, Krishna, the maintainer of the cows, is called as Gopal. So Gopalam paripalayam vrajapure. Krishna would take care of the cows and calves. Bharam haram dwapare. But Krishna's another responsibility when he came was to take away the suffering, to take away the sorrow of Dwapar. Bharam haram dwapare, to snatch the suffering of the living entities. But dear devotees, the same Lord of Dwapar, when he came down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Priya Kirtane Kaliyuge, when he came down in Kali, what was the cherished bhakti limb that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liked? Priya Kirtane. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loved Harinam Sankirtan. He loved chanting the holy names. Gauranga Priya Kirtane Kaliyuge Chaitanya Nahama Prabhu. What was his name? His name was Chaitanya. The same Krishna who came to take the suffering from the jivas of Dwapar has come down in Kali to give this nectar of Harinam Sankirtan through which we can approach Radha and Krishna. Otherwise, to approach Radha and Krishna in this age is absolutely difficult. It's an impossible task. But only through the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only through his mercy, through his process of Harinam Sankirtan, can Krishna be approached. The same point is made, even we see in the Vishnu Sahasranam, we say Suvarna Varna Hemanga. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Suvarna Varna Hemanga. His body is gold, is like that of gold. So mention of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is made even in Vishnu Sahasranam. Similarly, a very beautiful verse that substantiates the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, proves that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance was predicted. Kalau prathama sandhyayam bhavishyami sachi sutta daru brahma samipastha sannyasi gaura vigraha. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Kalau prathama sandhyayam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will appear in the first half of Kali. Kalau prathama sandhyayam bhavishyami sachi sutta. And in the Bhavishya, he will be the son of Sachi Mata. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Sachira Nandan Jaya Padmavati Suta Janava Jivan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the darling son of Sachi Mata. So Bhavishyami Sachi Suta, he will come in the future as the son of Sachi Mata. And where will he live? Daru Brahma Samipasta. He will live near Daru Brahma, which is Jagannath. Sannyasi Gaura Vigraha, and he will be a sannyasi and he will be golden. He would be molten gold in color. So the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is predicted in the scriptures, and the scriptures also emphasize this point that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from the Krishna of Dwapar. Vrindavana hoila tomi Krishna avatar, toma deki sarva loka hoila nistar. Vrindavana toma deki Krishna avatar. When the Brajavasis would look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they would say, Krishna avatar, my dear Chaitanya, you are Krishna. You are not different from Sri Krishna. Tomade ki sarva loka hoila nistar. People would be surprised looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But everyone knew in their hearts that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Sri Krishna. He is that same Krishna. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of devotee will never accept this. As we have heard, when the devotees would address Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Bhagavan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would never accept this. He would say, Prabhu kahe Vishnu Vishnu iha na kahibo, jiva dhame Krishna jnane kabhu na karibo. The Supreme Lord would say, Vishnu Vishnu iha na kahibo. Please do not say this. Jiva dhame Krishna jnane kabhu na kahibo. The Jiva can never be equal to that of Krishna. Jiva is Adham, but the Lord is supreme. Please do not compare the Jiva to the Supreme Lord. The Jiva can never be equal to the Supreme Lord. But this was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's humility that was speaking. He is the same Krishna. And to sum up our discussion, Kaviraj Goswami gives a very beautiful verse that completely sums up this discussion of Krishna coming down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being non-different from Sri Krishna. Kaviraj Goswami says, Akritya tumara dekhi Brajendra Nandan, Deha kanti pitambara hoela achadan. Kaviraj Goswami says, Akritya tumara dekhi Brajendra Nandan, my dear Lord, looking at your characteristic, looking at your bodily feature, we know you are Brajendra Nandan. We know you are the same son of Mother Yashoda, the same son of Nanda Maharaj. Akritya tumara dekhi Brajendra Nandan. We know you are Brajendra Nandan. Akritya tumara dekhi Brajendra Nandan. Deha kanti pitambara hoila achadan. Even though externally you have covered yourself with a golden form, you have covered yourself with a golden complexion, but my dear Lord, we know that you are that same Krishna. We know you're Brajendra Nandan. We know you're Devaki Nandan. So in this way, the Janmashtami that is approaching in another 3 days' time, we approach Krishna, but through the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, through the teachings of Chaitanya and Nityananda, in the mood of a devotee that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu demonstrated. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or I would say Kaviraj Goswami, in different chapters of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, in his Prakat manifestation, has taken the readers, he has taken the listeners on a journey to Vrindavan but this journey is through the eyes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When we go to Vrindavan Dham, we see things, we see buildings, we see pigs, we see dirt here and there. But Kaviraj Goswami, through this beautiful narration of Chaitanya Charitamrita, also Vrindavan Das Thakur to Chaitanya Bhagavat and Lochan Das Thakur to Chaitanya Mangal, they're showing the way as to how one should approach Vrindavan, as to how one should cry incessantly, remembering the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So in this way, the Janmashtami that is approaching, we pray to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, but through the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, who are our life and soul. Having said this, I would humbly want to thank all the devotees who have attended. And I would also want to express my gratitude once again to His Grace Venuvadak Prabhu for very kindly having me here. Thank you very much, devotees. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.